Good evening and welcome to Hello, It's Us, a program based on the premise that life in general goes better if it's us as opposed to you, me, and them. Hello, It's Us is brought to you by a collaboration between the Extended Dream Foundation, the Center for Disabilities and Development, and all the folks here at Public Access Television Channel 18. Tonight we have quite a group with us. We have Ed, Bryson, Andrew, Jim, and of course my co-host Keith down on the end. And today we're going to be discussing the SEATS program and the problems with the funding for that and the impact that that has on consumers. So certainly want to welcome you all and thank you all for coming to talk about this very important issue. Currently, the county and the towns, cities of Iowa City, Coralville, and North Liberty are still trying to work out an agreement for funding of seats for the next few years. The county has put forth their offer of something over $400,000 toward the funding, and how much the cities are going to kick in isn't clear yet. There will be a city council meeting in Iowa City next Tuesday where they will discuss a couple of the options that they've come up with, one being to eliminate Sunday service and to discontinue half-fare tickets. And what I'd kind of like to visit with folks about today is how that's going to impact you, how that's going to impact your friends, what things we might be able to do to make suggestions for different ways to reach the funding that we need. So, I guess I'll ask you first, Keith.
Well, it almost sounds like stop the world by one guy, or like, on weekends, we're just as human as anyone else. And if I can go somewhere, that's my bad luck because of that. I don't know why people don't think we travel as much as anyone else. Maybe a little more because
possible
of the wheelchair.
Well, and I guess, frankly, I'm not sure the general public has any idea how important an issue this is to folks with disabilities. People who have cars, people who depend on their cars, are just so used to being able to jump up and run out and get in their car and run an errand now and come back home, and if in an hour they remember something else they have to do, they can go out and do it. And I just, when you're not dependent on it, you don't realize it.
And transportation is a very important part of independence.
Yeah. I suppose I should take a couple minutes to explain. As part of the Americans with Disabilities Act, any community that has a fixed route bus system is required to provide an alternative paratransit system. Now, the way SEATS operates is the county is responsible for the outlying communities that aren't served by Iowa City Transit or Coralville Transit. And the cities contract with SEATS to provide the door-to-door service in Iowa City and Coralville. Seats then is only required to provide transportation during the same hours that the fixed transit system operates.
Okay.
So the fixed transit system currently does not operate on Sundays.
No,
So they've been, for a long time, they've been providing services from, I think it's 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. or so to get people to work and largely to get people to church services. So, you know, that's why they're looking at the Sunday services, because that's not a requirement, but it certainly is a big part of a lot of people's lives because they depend on it to get to work, to do any Sunday shopping that they might want to do, and to get to church.
and it might be the only day they get out.
For some people, that could
Yeah.
be. So, how would not having Sunday service and eliminating the half-price bus fare affect you, Andrew?
Well, it's kind of like hard to say, but I travel to work in Coralville, and then I have appointments in our city, the University Hospital. So it's kind of difficult for me to get there and pay for full fare instead of half fare.
Now, do you have money to be able to cover full fare the same way you're covering half fare now, or is that going to be something you're going to have to look at and not take as many trips? Or
Yeah.
okay. How about you, Jim?
I go to University Hospital, then I go to Goodwill Day Have, and then I go to Mayor's U.
Okay. And how would not having Sunday service affect that? Or do you go to any of those on Sunday? Do you ever use seats on Sunday for anything? That's your day of rest too?
Yeah.
Okay. What effect would having to go from half fare to full fare have?
It won't hurt me any.
Go on it. Okay. Have you heard other friends and folks talking about how it might affect them?
I don't know.
You haven't talked to anybody about it?
Well, my girlfriend takes seats, and my sister down in Jean takes seats.
Do they use it Sundays? Nope.
You know.
So other than the increase in price. Okay. And how would a change in the cost in the Sunday service affect you, Ed?
Because I really go to some of I go to Coralville one time.
Mm-hmm. Going to Coralville.
But most of the time I just stay home.
Well, I know it would have affected you a few weeks ago,
Yeah,
the Sunday of the river run.
I make a choice about my mother. My mother lived in our city, and she goes to church and every Sunday, and she 93 years old.
93. She uses seats? Okay.
And she to the wheelchair to
Uses a wheelchair.
go to not very far away from her apartment to your church, but in the winter time, I'm not more concerned about the people during the cold winter time. How can they go to the church?
Yeah, certainly in the nice weather, she may be able to get there, but wintertime, that's not good to try to traverse very far in a wheelchair in the wintertime, because they don't do that great a job with cleaning stuff.
Jerry, could you clarify why the raise is there?
As a way to save money, they're looking at the raise in fare and the elimination of Sunday service as cutting about $200,000 from the city budget in expenses. So that's one of the ways that they're, one or two of the ways they're going to propose it. I don't know that they go as a combo, or whether it's, we could cut this and save X amount of money. We could cut this and save $200,000 between the two. And there's seems to be a confusion right now as to how much money they actually need. Because at the beginning of this budget cycle, the county told them that they were going to start cutting the amount they had been basically giving the system. And that they were going to give them this year $130,000, and that was gradually going to go down to nothing, because the county's obligated to provide services in the county, but they're not obligated to subsidize service in the city. And they have since, they've kept the 130 in, and they have since added an additional $70,000. So that's $200,000 they've put into that, and there's $280-some thousand, I think, that they pick up for the surrounding communities part of it. But there was a confusion as to how much the system is still short. And the last number I saw was $116,000 between Coralville and Iowa City. So I kind of question cutting both of them, if that's going to save Iowa City alone $200,000, and they only need 116 between both of them. I'm not clear. Where that number, yeah. And I haven't seen anything about the amount Coralville additionally would be able to kick in.
Okay. It sounds like we're the only group that is getting cut back. Is there any regular fares in the service being cut back?
No.
Does has anyone asked why?
Because they can identify that the paratransit system is specifically for folks with disabilities, folks that have been applied and been found to be eligible for the service and may or may not get the half-price fare. Now, somebody can also if you're eligible for seats, you basically are also eligible for the fixed route system. And between certain hours, you can ride free. During the morning rush and the evening rush, you can't use your free pass. And I'm not sure how they track that, but it's the operation of the paratransit system that's losing money, or is underfunded, however we want to talk, with the county taking out a chunk that they had basically been putting in because they thought it was a good system and that, but the county no longer has that extra money. What they've been collecting in property taxes is changing, and unfortunately, as most of us know, they had a fire at one of their maintenance buildings that destroyed lots and lots of their trucks and snow plows, and basically all surplus they had got ate up in that. But so that's why seats is specifically being looked at. And now for our comments from our friend of Bill's, Bryson.
Okay. Well, I am a friend of people who use seats, and I'm concerned because I know that many people, most people very likely who need to use seats are on a fixed income. And it might not seem like much to add $1 here, $1 there, but for someone on a fixed income, and from what I know, typically these are not huge incomes, that dollar makes a big difference. And the other thing that people need to understand is that people with disabilities already, by the nature of having some kind of a disability, are limited in their options. So to come along and limit their options more is really not a good idea. Now, I had a solution, and this is how I got on this program, because I came into Uptown Bill's to play Scrabble, to get beaten at Scrabble by my friend Ed. And I said, Terry, I had a great idea. Well, I drive a car, and I'm on a limited income. I'm on Social Security. So first thing I did when I retired to Iowa City was to figure out the parking system and when to park, so I didn't have to, after 5 was a good time to go to the library, and I could park at Chauncey Swan for free, and those little things I figured out. So now I understand that we may be having to pay for parking for my car extended hours. I certainly know I do if I go on the other side of the river or go to university property. I have to put the money in after 5. So I got to thinking about it, and I thought, and I should also add, I have friends who would like to see the regular bus system operate on Sunday. There's a great need for that. There are people, not only church, which is fine if you want to go to church or you don't want to go, whatever, or visit friends or do whatever you want to do, but shops are open Sunday, people work. And I think we forget that there are many people taking 2 people in a family to work, and one person may have the car and someone needs to get the bus to get to work on Sunday. So there's a tremendous need not only for seats to continue Sunday, but for people who use the regular bus to have access on Sunday. So here's my solution. If you want me to pay for parking after 5 in Iowa City, I want all of that money to go into first seats and then to extend regular bus system to Sunday. And then I would very happily pay. So I think we have to look at our needs and look at the people, and from a people perspective, and not just talk about money.
Mm-hmm. And in thinking about it, I kind of thought one further. We've got a local option tax. If we, and obviously that will take some work, but if we could raise another penny on the local option tax, I would certainly think that would be enough money to fund seats and to fund Sunday service, because you're right. You know, that's an important thing. People move to Iowa City because it's supposed to be a welcoming community. You know, with all this wonderful accessibility and that, well, you know, as I've said before, it doesn't matter how welcoming the community is, how accessible it is, what wonderful activities they have. If you can't get there, then you're living in an institution. It may be a small 2 or 3 bedroom institution, but if that's where you've got to stay, then that's what it is. And you know, if as a community we can give out huge amounts of credits for new buildings to be built that, you know, aren't going to help low-income folks, aren't going to help folks with disabilities, you know, we certainly should be able to find a way to fund this very needed service, because otherwise, yeah, it's going to cost dollars, because folks won't be out on Sundays shopping. People aren't going to be out working. You know, people may lose jobs if they can't get to work. It's not the kind of reputation we want to get as a community.
And it feels like we're going back to isolation again. And that's not what we intended.
No. Yeah, and another way to possibly put more money into the system, and I'm surprised with gas prices the way they are now, it hasn't started again, is for more folks to use the fixed route system to go to work.
Yeah.
It always surprises me. It takes gas getting up to, you know, $4 or over a gallon before people suddenly go, that's it, I'm not doing it, not gonna do it anymore. But, well, we've come to the end of our time. I want to thank everybody, and if any of you can attend the city council meeting Tuesday at 7 o'clock, certainly invite you to do that. Want to invite all our friends at home.
Yes.
If you can attend the city council meeting at Iowa City City Hall next Tuesday at 7, we certainly would appreciate all the support we can get on this.
It
And-
would help out there if we stop complaining and you're a little more action.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we invite all of you to stay tuned for our new weekly feature, the Assistive Technology Tip of the Week. Thank you. Thank everybody here.
Have a good week out there.
Let's start with a post today. I'm going to open the Facebook program.
Now, you're using that with your finger. Does somebody have to use their finger to open these, or is it possible to have the program open it?
Well, let's find out in just a minute. How does that sound, Terry?
Okay.
Today I am doing a Facebook post using speech recognition on an iPad, period. It is a wonderful way for me to do it, period. I'm not sure if you can see that on the screen, but it nailed it. It didn't miss a word. It looks good. Let's find out, Terry. That's a good question. Let's close out of the Facebook program. Facebook post.
I can't. You haven't set up your Facebook account yet.
Silly me. I haven't synced it with Siri yet. But the answer is, Terry, yes, you can. But as long as we have Siri open, let's, can I do a text message? Text message to Deb Johnson.
Okay, I can send a text to Deb Johnson for you. What would you like it to say?
Hi, Deb, comma. I'm sending you a text message from...
I updated your message. Ready to send it?
No.
To continue, you can send, cancel, review, or change it.
Change it.
Okay, what would you like the message to say?
I am sending you a text message from Public Access Television, period. I find it an interesting way to send information.
I updated your message. Ready to send it?
Send.
Okay, I'll send your message.
So I just sent a text message strictly by voice. One of the, I'm going to set the iPad down for just a minute and pick up a cell phone. This happens to be an iPhone 5. And you can do the same thing. You can send a text message with the iPhone 5 using your voice again and Siri. Let's have Siri do that for me. Text message to Deb Johnson.
Okay, I can send a text to Deb Johnson for you. What would you like it to say?
Demonstrating a text message on an iPhone 5, period. I can do this while driving. Not that I recommend it, exclamation mark.
I updated your message. Ready to send it?
Send.
Okay, I'll send your message.
I just find that fascinating. I had the opportunity to visit with some of the legislators from the state of Iowa. And one of the things that came up was technology, and I mentioned to them that you can send a text message by voice. So is that such a bad thing while you're driving? I think research shows that an awful lot of people still text message while driving, which I think is totally wrong. But there's no problem with making a telephone call with driving because you aren't so distracted. And that's basically what you're doing when you send a text message utilizing Siri and an iPhone. So that's pretty good stuff.